Welcome back to the Movie A Day podcast, the one and only podcast that reviews a different film each and every day. My name is Grant, and I'm your host for this podcast. With me, as always, to dive into the world of cinema, we have Sky.
Hello, everyone.
And Ryan.
Hello.
So, today we are covering two of the best action movies that are currently out there.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Well,
Those two...
This is going to be a spoiler talk conversation.
Yeah, so those two movies are The Raid Redemption and The Raid 2. The Raid Redemption is about a SWAT team that becomes trapped in a slum-like apartment complex run by a ruthless crime lord. So they get trapped in there, and it's all sorts of fun. Second film takes place 2 hours after the first one. I think it's safe to say we all recommend watching these movies.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So
100%.
we're just gonna do away with initial thoughts for this podcast and dive right in. And the first Raid is actually available on Netflix if you want to check that out. The second one isn't too hard to find. Just watch them both and come back.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Yeah, they're kind of different. I mean, they're the same, but like different. Like the
same but different.
same but different. But like the action is like the same, kind of, except the first one had like more guns. I would say
the first one is,
but
yeah, the first one's just straight action.
Yeah,
and the second
the second one has
plot.
more of a plot, more of a storyline. And like, if you're the type of fan that likes no story and just straight action, then you're gonna like the first one better than the second one. But like, the second one explains a lot more to the story.
Oddly enough, the first one has a better critical score, Metascore of 73, and the second one has a Metascore of 71, which I found interesting.
By 2
Because
points.
I actually like the second one better.
It changes for me. It flip-flops for me. Which one I like better?
Yeah, I just got done watching The Raid 2 for the second time, and I did like notice some things that I missed after watching the first time, because it is long and there is a lot to it. Whereas
There's a
like
lot to the
the
plot.
first one, I understood like after my first watch, I was like, all right, I know what the first one's about, pretty straightforward. And then the second one comes and it's like, what? And then after watching it my second time around, I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense now, like certain parts. But
I would say I actually like felt more for the character in the second one, the Rama. Like I actually, and I can't really like explain why necessarily. I feel like the first one, it's just kind of like action guy in like an action movie doing
well,
like
in
the
the
best
in the first
choreography.
in the first one, you have Rama, and then you have like the other SWAT guy that you're kind of following both of them, like the commander or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, not like the guy that's in the plaid, but like the chief. Yeah. So you're kind of following both in the first one, and like Rama doesn't really become a factor until like the midway point in the movie, and then he kind of gets his own like storyline because he's off on his own, and he's like trying to help his guys that are with him.
He
But,
does
like,
have a little bit in the beginning.
Yeah, he has a
where
little
he
bit.
Says, he tells his father, I believe, that he'll bring him home.
Mhm.
And you don't really know what that means until like 2/3 of the way in, where you find out it's his brother
Mhm.
that's been working at the slums, the apartment slums. I don't know what to call that type of establishment.
Yeah, no, I think that fits it. Yeah, and they don't really give Rama too much more character in the second one for his like, family wise. Like, you meet his family and you
Again.
get a little bit of that, but even that, it's really not a ton. So again, I don't know why I feel more for him. I think it's just like in the second one, he literally just has to go through so much more. And it's like one-on-one, like 100%, like the entire time, it seems like.
Well, in
In
the second one,
movie?
I was gonna say in the second one he takes on like groups of people.
Yeah.
No,
there's,
I meant like it's him against a group. I shouldn't say one-on-one. I meant it's him against multiple people.
Yeah.
And he does it in the first one too, obviously. Like that was like a big part of the first one. But in the second one, it seems like the odds were even more against him. With him like lying about who he is, like all that tension of, are they going to find out? and then he actually starts feeling for the family a little bit, like the dad of Uko.
Well, the start of the second one is a couple hours after the first one, but then they do like a time jump where they like fast forward like, can't remember if it was years. They fast forward like years.
I think 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years, because there's no way like that Rama would be able to like go after like killing all those people in the first one and then like just a few hours later like continue to fight with that kind of energy, because like he was banged up after the first one, and he's banged up after the second one even more. But like this guy like he takes his licks, but it's just crazy how he just keeps going. He just keeps killing.
Yeah, and I guess in the second one he's definitely more on his own, right? Like it seems like he's like undercover.
He doesn't have his team. Yeah.
Yeah, it's literally just like him, like executing his will over other people.
Yeah, that's the first movie definitely for like at least the second like 2/3, because for a lot of it he's basically just with that cop's son got really messed up,
or that one.
Yeah, and again, like I would agree with that, but in the second one, the stakes just seem more intense, and like he's not even. Again, like this is what doesn't make sense, right? Because like in the first one, he's doing it for a brother, right? Like in this one, I guess you would say he's like doing it for his family, but it's not like to save them, right? So I don't know though. Like in the second one, for whatever reason, maybe it's just because of like all the like crazy like cool villains he has to go up against, or I don't know what it is, but like I'm like, geez, I just want this guy to have like a break, because it seems like he definitely doesn't want to be doing any of this in the second one, whereas the first one. Not that he wants to. I don't know. He seems more motivated to, though. Because of the brother.
Yeah, I will say I definitely felt more like concerned for him in the first movie than I did in the second one. The first one's like very claustrophobic, and like we mentioned a little bit earlier that it wasn't really like set in stone like who was going to be making it to the end. And there were a few scenes where like it was a really close call and lots of really long and epic fights. Whereas in the second one, you kind of know like where it's going and how long he's gonna make it.
And yeah, in the second one, you know that he's gonna make it to the end.
Well, I would argue that also is like kind of a part of a second film, right? Like the character made it out the first time, like he's probably gonna make it out the second time.
And I guess that's actually a pretty good segue, because one of my only complaints with the second one is that it is tied into the first one. For not only that reason, but there are two like really good deleted scenes for this second movie that could have been replacing other scenes that kind of like segue the first into the second one. And it has a character, or it has an actor, I should say, from both movies.
Yeah, the fight choreographer.
Yeah, that plays different characters.
Yeah, so that's definitely my
confusing.
Yeah, that's definitely my, I guess, main complaint with the film would be like,
yeah, he was
same
Mad
actor,
Dog,
and they didn't change him. Yeah, they didn't like change his appearance. Like if they at least would have changed his appearance a little better, I think it.
Yeah, because he still kind of kept like the long hair look, and he still kind of kept like the same style.
Yeah,
like kind of like.
But again, it didn't like ruin my experience at all. It's just one of those things you're like, wait, is that guy the same guy? Because like saw him die in the first one.
Well, I watched it. Well, when I watched it at a friend's, the second time, and a couple of them didn't see the second one. But they seen the first one, right? So like when that guy came back on the screen in the second movie, they're like, "Oh my god, how was Mad Dog back? How was he alive? Like he was dead." And I'm like, "Well, it's the same guy, but it's just a different character." And I'm like, "Yeah, I see like where it trips people up, but like for me, it didn't really bother me as much because I like him as like a character and as like a fighter, because like yeah, he's really good. But for other people, I can see like where they get confused.
Really glad
like, how they can't look past it.
Really glad that they got him as scene in the second movie, where he fights all the people in the club.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, see, that's what I would say. The second one actually like gives you like not, I guess, a ton of. Well, for some of the villains, it gives you a backstory, but just I guess not. He's not really a villain. I guess he's actually working for like the dad of Uko as well, and he's actually loyal to the family. But yeah, like the characters actually have like like, or I guess the other characters actually have some development. You're like, oh, like that guy's doing this to like provide money for like his wife and kid who want nothing to do with him. And then like even like I mean they're more one dimensional for sure, like Hammer Girl and baseball bat guy and a guy with like the
guy with like
karambit knives,
karambits,
like those like
yeah.
curved, like they actually like set them up. You're like, okay, these guys can fucking kill people. And so that's where like I would, I guess, disagree with what you were saying the first one. I think he was more at risk in the second one purely because they show each of these guys going out and just like killing a bunch of people on their own, and I'm like, damn, how the hell is our guy gonna take on these guys who've like literally like killed a bunch of people by themselves? It's like,
yeah, they definitely set up the villains like a lot better in the second one. That I'll give that movie that. But like, I guess they didn't really like in the first one they didn't really need like as many
the first one doesn't really have like a plot.
like,
it's a very simple get in.
The way they set up the villain,
brother.
Like their fights before they fight the main character are really, really cool. Like Mad Dog's fight against the Chief was like a great way to showcase like, okay, this guy is like gonna give him a really good fight. And like same thing in the second one where like they intercut between the Hammer Girl and the baseball bat and then the guy with the karambit knives.
No, exactly.
It's like a really cool way to do it.
Well, and I like with the karambit guy, like he kills the, I guess, I don't know what his character's name is in the second one, but the Mad Dog character, he kills him right after he literally kills like 100 people in that like disco club thing.
Yeah.
And so like
after he gets drugged and knocked out, by the way.
Yeah.
Kind of just wakes up and a bunch of people are coming at him.
That's true. So you wonder too, you're like, dang, could that guy have been able to beat all these people? Like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah, they get the coolest locations for these fights too.
Yeah.
Like that club looked sick as hell.
Yeah, that was cool. The kitchen was kind of cool. With
like even the hallway that he fights the baseball bat guy and the Hammer Girl. Like had some cool like little.
Well, what I like too, the main character, and I can't remember. I don't think in the first one does he use weapons in the first one, because in this one he doesn't. Like he uses the weapons of the people against them. Like I'm pretty sure he kills the Hammer Girl with the hammer and the baseball bat guy with the baseball bat, and I think he even like slits the guy's throat with the knives at the end.
Yeah.
So he literally just goes in by himself,
and
then like turns their weapons against them.
In the first one, like it was more like hand-to-hand combat. Like he kind of just walked past like all the weapons that were on the ground. He never really picked up any of the weapons. He killed them like with his fists and like with brute force. Whereas like in the second one, he used more of the weapons than he did in the first one. That's one thing.
Wait, so in the first one he didn't use a gun or anything? I can't really remember.
Well, he did use a gun at some scenes, but like in the first one he used like there was a lot of opportunities in the first one where he could have picked up a knife instead of using his hands, like his fists. He could have just picked up a knife real quick, or like picked up one of those machetes and like actually had like a weapon to use, but he didn't in the first one. Whereas in the second one, he kind of used.
No, the second one he doesn't until like he turns the weapons on the people. He doesn't start out fighting with them, but he
Well, I mean, I guess in the first one, like Mad Dog, like when he was fighting Mad Dog in the first one. Mad Dog had like a gun and he had a knife, and he like put the knife and the gun down. And he's like, I don't like fighting with weapons. I like it the old way, the old style. So then they fought hand to hand, which he kind of made the fight like more ground level and like his way of doing things. So that's kind of like in the first one, that was like their way of, making when he fights the villain, right, or one of the villains, it kind of like balanced out the fight was because Mad Dog was like traditional. And that's kind of how they did it in the first one. Whereas in the second one, like, they didn't want to, like, make the fight fair. So they used their weapons, but then he ended up killing them with their own weapons, which is, a cool way to, like, make up for it in that way.
So, yeah, something I want to mention that, like, separates these two from all the other action movies is when they shot the fight scenes in the second Raid movie, they would have to halt mid-scene for every action scene for about 20 to 30 minutes for the makeup artist to create the realistic, like, damage and like impact on their faces and like other parts of their body. So like just the amount of like meticulous planning that goes into all of these scenes. I think they mentioned too that the last fight scene took a month and a half to shoot.
Well, I bet.
Yeah, the fight choreography is insane, and like it's all like in frame too. Like you don't like they may do a quick cut, but like everything is in the frame of the quick cut. Like most of it like it's just like a side shot, and you see them all fighting, and like their hands are like moving with the camera if they're going like above to like hit down. Yeah, like the camera follows the action like really well in these movies. You can 100% tell what's going on like the entire fight.
Yeah, they don't really use that much shaky cam at all. It's kind of just like focused on the two characters, which is really great. I think like the only scene where like it was kind of hard to follow, which it actually really wasn't, but if I had a nitpick, it'd probably be like the jail yard or the courtyard of the jail or the prison that they were at, that fight.
The mud fight.
Yeah, the mud fight. That was just chaotic as hell because there were so many people fighting, so it's kind of hard to like focus on who
See,
Rama
I think that was the point. And
Yeah.
everyone's covered in mud. It's hard to
Exactly.
who's-
Yeah.
Yeah, they had to create that set from hand, and they had to like hose down all the dirt because it wouldn't rain.
Yeah.
That's pretty
oh,
funny.
I bet. Well, to keep it mud, otherwise it would dry out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these movies are just like leaps and bounds ahead of 99.9, if not all of the percentage of the action movies that have
Yeah.
ever come out.
I can't think of better like fight scenes in movies. Like I would think all of them are in these two movies.
Yeah, I would say 9 out of my 10 favorite action scenes are in these two movies. And the other one I can't think of right now, so that might go to these as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I would just say the second one, obviously it's much longer than the first one, which can like create some pacing issues, but I love it's got like a gangster feel to it. Like all these different like gangs are trying to like one up each other, and I just like how like they all like essentially like turn on each other, or they get Uko to turn on his dad, and yeah, all of that drama I like really liked. Like you felt for like, or like you could maybe not felt for. I mean, I kind of did feel for the Uko's dad. Like he was trying to keep everything peaceful, and he like learned from his mistakes. I forget what his character's name was, but he's like, we don't want war. Like I did my whole life killing people to get here, and it's honestly not worth it. And then his son's like so craving to be like a head guy that he's going around and like starting stuff with what's that guy's name? Something with an R. The guy who shotguns is Rama's brother at the beginning.
Reza?
Yeah, Reza. Yeah. So then that whole thing, but then it turns out Reza was betraying Uko. Yeah, all that stuff. And I love the way the second one ends, where it's just like you can't even tell what the people are saying to Rama. Like you have no idea what they're saying to him, but you can tell like it's kind of something to do. Damn, you just fought all these people by yourself. Like you should come join our squad. And he's just like, no. It just ends with him saying, "I'm done." And that's like a perfect way to end that movie.
Yeah, I really like how the bathroom fight scene kind of like almost sums up the entire movie. Like he's very like narrow, like only one way out. Like
Yeah.
'cause it kind of like signifies like his problem, and like he starts fighting him off. He's doing good, and then all the people kind of come in at the end, and it's kind of ambiguous what happens, which is like kind of like the ending because you don't know like what they're gonna say to him after he says no, I'm done, or what they're gonna do.
It's
Yeah.
true. Yeah. I mean, I guess we should say like there is gonna be a third one, but we don't know
Well,
when yet.
Apparently, he's leaning towards not making a third one now.
Oh, really?
What I've heard. Yeah,
Oh, that's sad.
it is. But he is making other movies, so
That's true.
Yeah,
we can cross our fingers.
one of the scenes in the second one, that's kind of like a weird scene, and it just kind of like almost like a comic relief scene is like this scene where they go to the guy to like collect the money, the guy that's in
Yep.
VHS 2. with like all the TV screens and like they're making like porn and stuff. And they go to him and it's just like it's kind of like a scene that just feels so out of place, but in a funny way. Like it's like
They
what?
utilized shaky cam very well.
Yeah.
In that sequence.
Yeah, and that was a really cool fight too. Like
where he like jumps through the window and the camera kind of like
yeah,
pans
follows
like
him up.
upside down. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's such a weird way of even explaining how it moves.
I like one of my favorite shots in the second one is when he uses the baseball bat to execute the guy that originally held the baseball bat. And like right when he smashes his face in, like the camera kind of does like a spin, and then when it like spins to the wall, and then all of a sudden it's like zoomed out when when it's done spinning, and it's like whoa, like that was kind of cool. It's just a camera trick.
Yeah, the cinematography that like kind of frames and holds all the action together is insane.
Yeah. You can't say enough good things about the way the action is filmed or choreographed, edited, like all of that. It's seamless, yeah.
All right, would you guys care to guess the body count for the second movie?
The body count.
I remember reading something about it. I know it's over like a couple hundred. I mean, like 300 maybe, something like that.
Any guess, Ryan?
I'm gonna go with 150.
It's practically double that, 327.
Damn.
Yeah,
I was
closer.
lowballing it.
That's insane.
No, yeah, that's just the scale of that is ridiculous.
And that's just for the second one?
Yeah, that's only the second movie.
Okay.
And that, how long? 2.5 hours? So how many minutes is that? About 150?
Yeah.
So, if we can do math there, it's a high body per minute count.
Yeah. At least like 2 kills per minute.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm sad this movie, apparently, I just went to the IMDb trivia page. It's not in the top 250.
Not anymore.
I know it was. And I'm like, that's just so sad.
It's a good
How can
thing
you-
that Toy Story 3 is there.
Like, how can you not have like the best filmed like action like movie like not in the top 250? Like, that's just crazy to me.
Yeah. It was the first Indonesian movie to be there until then as well.
Yeah. What's weird is Gareth Evans, the director, he's not Indonesian. He's like is he?
You know, I couldn't tell you. There's two like Gareth Evans, like you know what I'm talking about, right? There's a guy that's very similarly named.
I think you're talking about Gareth Edwards, the guy who did
Edwards,
like
yeah.
the Star Wars thing.
But yeah,
or something.
I'm looking at his headshot right now, and he does not look Indonesian.
I think he went to school in like Japan or somewhere like in that region. So maybe that's where he got his love for all this stuff from. But yeah, it's interesting because the whole cast is Indonesian as far as I know.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, there's not enough good things that we can say about these two movies in such a short amount of time.
Yeah.
I guess we can mention our favorite fight scene. Anyone have a favorite action scene in particular?
Oh, jeez. That's like
I have
so
to
tough.
only pick one, like
I mean,
Yeah.
could I pick
from
like
each movie or from both of them as a whole.
I would say both as a whole.
I mean,
There's a few I like all time. I mean, I obviously like each fight scene's pretty cool, but
Yeah, I have a feeling we'll all pick the same scene from the first movie if we go with both.
yeah. For the second one, which is my favorite out of both. I mean, I guess I would try to like say I like the hammer girl bat guy and the final fight with the
Yeah.
knife
Yeah.
guy. I'd make that all one, but I don't think you get let me do that.
It's kind of cheating, but
yeah.
Definitely
but
the
see,
kitchen
point-
scene.
I love the
is a good
disco
fight.
fight with Mad Dog's character in the second one. The I mean, the courtyard scene. I liked him in the bathroom too. I mean, oh my, I really can't pick one, honestly.
mine would have to be the car chase.
Oh yeah, that's a good one too. Jeez, I even forgot about that. Where the camera's going in and around the car.
Yeah.
God.
Then
That
you have
one's
the
cool.
motorcycle and the other car in the background.
Yep.
I like the scene where they're in like the meth lab area
In the first one or the second one?
in the second one, where they're like in like the lab area or like the factory area, like the warehouse.
So like towards the end of the movie.
It's like before he fights Hammer Girl.
Yeah,
And-
before they get into that hallway.
It's when he first drives in,
Yeah.
I assume. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that one's good.
And he like
I mean,
starts like throwing like empty water jugs at people and knocking them out.
yeah. I think what we should.
I mean,
do-
if I had to pick one that's not meta, if I had to pick one that's not, what you guys picked, I'd probably pick that one. It's like my third or fourth favorite scene. My favorite scene of the first one is definitely the Mad Dog fight, because I like Mad Dog as a character. Like, so.
Where he fights the chief of police, or where he fights the brothers at the end?
Or where he fights the brothers. Yeah, the one. Sorry. Yeah, I guess there was two Mad Dog fights. The one where he fights the chief, that's a good one too. Shit. Both the Mad Dog fights.
My favorite in the first one would have to be where he fights all the people in the hallway. Where he's carrying the cop and he has to drop him and he kind of just starts.
Yeah, that
one is cool.
Or the last guy, he probably delivers like 20 hits to him. Slams him against the wall 5 times, by his head.
Guys, I think we need to talk about the best performance of like Rama and Mad Dog's characters in Star Wars: A Force Awakens.
Oh yeah.
when they go on Han Solo's ship.
That movie really could have used that fight choreography from that actor that I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name.
Like when they showed up in the movie, I was like excited. I was like, oh my god, like there's going to be some, like surely you didn't just get these two guys to just stand there. And they literally just stood there.
Yep.
I'm like, why? Like, why would you waste their talent like that? Oh, made me so upset.
Yeah. Good old Disney.
Can't wait to dive into Star Wars and
there'll be a day
later.
Yeah, there'll be a day.
Yeah. Let's just say Star Wars will be a topic of a few of our podcasts.
Oh, yeah. I got so much to say on that. That's for another video.
Anyone have any other thoughts on the Raid movies?
If you haven't seen The Raid or The Raid 2, you must see The Raid or Raid 2. You are living on a rock. If you have seen John Wick before The Raid, what are you doing with your life?
I would agree. You gotta branch out.
Yeah. The John Wick movies, I think, are pretty overrated.
They're entertaining, but there's nothing like
this
crazy. Yeah,
I would argue the first one is pretty boring, aside from like a few action scenes.
Yeah.
Honestly, I can really only remember one.
Definitely the second one had more action, I think.
The second one was more self-aware. Like the second one made me laugh a lot.
The second one was definitely more self-aware. But even then, like there's only a few scenes I can really remember.
Yeah. Whereas this
it's not as personal, right?
I remember a lot from these two movies. I remember every fight scene from these two movies.
Yeah.
Like that's the difference. That's the difference between great and okay.
Well, and like again, John Wick simply shoots a gun, and like half the time it just insta kills the person, right? So I mean, like it's not as like, it doesn't stick with. It's not personal.
Is he gonna shoot him once in a cool way, or is he gonna shoot him 2 or 3
5 times? Yeah, exactly. It's like there's not really much you can do. You can do like a somersault, shoot someone.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah. Should we give our ratings for the?
Oh, it's not going to be much of a surprise.
Yeah. I'm going 8 out of 10 on both of these. Fantastic movies. all around.
What about you, Ryan?
Well, I have the first one at a 9 and the second one at a 10. After
there it
watching
is.
it the second time.
Our second 10.
I had it
Yeah.
originally at a 9, and then I think I bumped it up to a 10 because I really liked it the second time around.
Yeah, I have the first one at an 8 and the second one at a 9. But like, yeah, I really only have like, I guess like, just like a little nitpick with the second one. It's really not much. So like, it could go up to a 10. I have to watch it again, which I will several more times.
As will I. And Sky, I think you're the one that recommends our next movie.
That I am. And I hope you guys are ready because we're about to watch The Death of Stalin. Dun,
For the
dun,
second
dun.
I'm
Keeping
very
that
excited.
World War II theme going.
Yeah, I'm so excited to watch this again. I think we've all seen it once, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
I was coming off of probably like 3 hours of sleep.
Yeah, I was really tired
I was,
watching
I,
it.
I was really struggling, but all the scenes I was watching it for the first time that I was invested in were great. I've been really wanting to watch it again.
I just literally remember like crying at like how funny this movie was. It really made me nonstop. But yeah, I'm excited to revisit this one as well.
As am I. So, yeah, if you guys like this podcast, don't forget to subscribe to the channel as well as leave a like and a comment. As a new podcast, we would love to hear your thoughts, suggestions, and recommendations. To keep up with updates and other news regarding this podcast, follow our Twitter and like our Facebook page listed in the description below. You guys want to add anything else?
No, I think
Nope.
we did it.
Go watch the raid.
And the raid too. All right, see you tomorrow.